Hey everybody, and welcome to How You Like Me Now. I'm Jonathan Randall, and I hope you all are feeling in the holiday spirit. We got through Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a good one. It's typically a time where people get together with their families, but my family are a bunch of assholes, so I didn't get together with any of them. Didn't even hear from any of them till a couple of days later, but I made some food myself. I enjoyed some turkey and some green beans and some mashed potatoes. And then I was off to Baltimore the next day to perform at Magooby's Comedy Club with my girl Yamanika. Baltimore, wow, what a shithole that place is. It's hard to be excited about going to Baltimore. And when you're in Baltimore, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, it is even crappier than I thought it would be or had heard it was. I was afraid. Every time I took public transportation, I did like wrap my arm around my bag to make sure that like no one could like grab it and like run off. The shows were really good, had a lot of fun. The club was nice club. The staff at this club was so unbelievably kind. They were, you know, not only were they so like helpful with everything, supportive of comedy, but they were just like, they really cared about the comedians. They really wanted to take care of us. And I really appreciated that. I thought that was so awesome. You know, as soon as I got there, one of the guys introduced himself as like, hey, I'm the owner's son. And I was like, oh, great. Now I'm going to have to deal with this nepotism kid. But he was like the sweetest guy, and you could tell he takes pride in his job, and he cared about making sure the comedians were happy. So shout out to that club. Shout out to Yamanika for bringing me with her. Everybody who came out to the shows. It was so lovely to entertain you. It was hard because it made me think, you know, some of the shows weren't as good as like the other shows, but it just made me think of like this, you know, thing that I feel like I always have with comedy, where it's just like when you kill, like having a mediocre set or just like getting some laughs, it's like a bomb. It's not good. It's like when you have one set and you're just killing and there's rolling laughter in the next set, people are enjoying themselves, they're smiling, they're laughing, but it's not like the same energy. It just feels like a bomb. And I feel like I have like enough of these sets where like I'm like feeling like I'm really killing, that like anything other than a kill I consider a bomb. What do you think, Phil?
I totally agree.
You totally agree, right?
Yeah.
You know, one of the second shows I got off and the guy was like, hey, that was good. I was like, that sucked. That was a bomb. He's like, everybody was loving it. I was like, no, not good enough.
Yeah, I think comedians, we give ourselves like a really high bar. You know, because we love comedy, but also because we like to torture ourselves.
Definitely a little bit of that. And I definitely felt like I was torturing myself being in Baltimore, and not even like in the city, like outside in the suburbs, like 20 minutes outside of Baltimore. Besides the shows, I think the highlight of my trip was going to this place called the Charcoal Deli and getting a pit beef sandwich, which was delicious and amazing. I'm all about pit beef sandwiches, by the way. It's funny because like this place was not like nice. I feel like I go and I find like the most hole-in-the-wall place to eat, but it was delicious. If you live anywhere in the Baltimore area, go check out the Charcoal Deli. It has my highest recommendation. I'm happy to be back from Baltimore. You know, I took like all this public transportation, and then I took the Chinatown bus to get back because it was like the cheapest way. And I was feeling a little like low about it. I was like, oh, I had this great weekend, did all these shows. And now I'm like, you know, taking the bus to the tram to the bus, to, you know, and this Chinatown bus was horrible. I took a Chinatown bus on the way there. It wasn't that bad, but then they were sold out. So I had to take another Chinatown bus. And apparently I took the good one on the way there and like the most awful Chinatown bus. Like I thought there was going to be a fight, like getting out because like there weren't enough seats. People were threatening the guy. Like one guy's like, I'm getting on this bus. I don't care if I have to sit in the aisle. Like, you fucking Chinese guy. I was like, whoa, this is getting ugly. Like, calm down a notch. I'm like, why is this guy being so aggressive? And it was like, I was like, what is going to happen? And I was like, thank God I was like the first person on the bus with my like printed ticket. And I was like feeling a little down, like, oh, no, I'm taking this lame Chinatown bus. And then I look over and sitting like the next row is an actor who was on The Wire. He was on like Homicide, Life on the Streets. He had parts in like all these TV shows and movies. And he's on the Chinatown bus too. So I'm like, hey, artist life, that's what you got to do. Sometimes you just got to suck it up and take a shitty Chinatown bus with the worst people in the world. And this, you know, actually brought out one of the things that I hate, one of my pet peeves, which is when you're in a quiet place like a bus, you know, and someone is talking on the phone, like with no consideration for other people. What happened to consideration for other people? Nobody wants to hear your fucking conversation for a bus. This one lady was yapping the whole goddamn bus ride. And I wanted to like curse her out. I was like biting my lip because I'm like, don't make a scene. Just let it go. Just let it go. But it's so annoying. I hate that. When you're in a quiet place, don't be yapping on your phone loud. Other people are around. They don't want to hear your conversation. They want to have some peace. I see people do this all the time on buses, on trains, on subways, in gardens, in little coffee shops, where like people are just trying to have like a quiet moment. And then there are these people that are just like, oh my God, I'm having a conversation. Everybody, I don't care that anyone's around here. It's all about me and my conversation, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Have consideration for other people. All right, so I've been talking about some of my like dating fails, so I want to talk about what I got unmatched on this week. This week I got unmatched. This girl messages me first, and she messaged me, guess whose electricity just went out for 4 hours? And I wrote back, Ukraine, question mark? Hilarious, I think. Instant unmatch. But I stand by that joke. I'm really happy. But that was definitely my best unmatch of the week. Weird family news for me. My dad got married for the 4th time, I found out. I wasn't invited to the wedding or anything, but he just like left a message on my voicemail that he got married and I should congratulate him for it. I actually have a feeling that he got married like a couple months ago, but like he didn't want to tell us because he had like barely met this woman. And that's, I guess, what happens when you rush into marriages. And that's probably why this man's married already for the 4th time. Like, I don't like, what do I even say to this guy? 4th time's a charm. Hope it works out this time. I met his wife now, I guess she is, my new stepmom, once at my grandma's 100th birthday. She was there, and I don't know why my dad brought her. They were dating only for like a month or whatever, but he brought her. And I think they already had got married because like they're both Orthodox Jews and like they can't fuck unless they get married. So like they get married, which is like a sure way to get divorced, by the way. If you're only getting married to have sex, it's probably not going to work out. I'm just saying. So I met her. I was giving my grandma a toast, which turned just into like this huge roast to my dad. And I made some like one joke about like, oh, you know, like that my dad's new girlfriend was here or something. It wasn't even bad. It was very tame, but my dad was really mad about it. And then like this woman, like she chased me down and she's like, you can make whatever jokes about me you want. And I was like, I will. I don't need your permission, lady. Like, you don't know me. But hopefully that'll be the last time I'll ever see that lady. My jokes went over great, by the way. Everybody loved them. Not my dad so much, but I stand by them and I'm very happy I made them. And I actually cut the really harsh jokes because I didn't want to upset my grandma on her birthday, even though those were the funniest ones. But anyways, it's weird because I think my dad's like a total piece of shit. He cheated on my mom when I was like 15 months old, and then he tried to indoctrinate me into a religion when obviously like I don't think he has, you know, the best morals when he's cheating on, you know, my mother when I'm just a baby. And he's, you know, he just didn't treat my mom well. He didn't treat any of his wives well. He doesn't treat me and my siblings well. He's just like not a good guy. And he's getting married for the 4th time. I can't believe it. I can't find a girlfriend. I've never been married once. And my schmuck asshole dad is on his 4th. It's a crazy world. I don't even know what to think. But hey, it is what it is. What could you do? So, you know, I mentioned that there was this actor from The Wire on the bus, and the other day I was walking by a restaurant and I saw Martin Scorsese, and I feel like I'm always seeing like these celebrities and stuff, and like I want to approach them, but not in a like, can I get a selfie? Can I get your autograph kind of way? Like, I want to approach them like, hey, I'm an artist, I'm an actor, I'm a writer too. Like, I want to collaborate, I want to work with you. But like, can you do that? Like, where is the line? Like, I saw Martin Scorsese eating at a restaurant, and I just wanted to go and just sit right next to him and be like, I'm such a fan. How can I get in your next movie? But he definitely wouldn't like that. But like, where's the line between like going for it and like chasing your dreams and like, you know, trying to make things happen and just letting opportunities pass you by? Like, was seeing Martin Scorsese or seeing this actor from The Wire on the bus, was that like an opportunity for me to maybe like expand my networks? Or did I blow it by not, or was I just like kind of being a decent human being and being like, let me like give this person some space? They definitely don't want to be approached by anybody. I don't know. If you're listening to the podcast, hit us up on our DMs on Instagram, How You Like Me Now podcast, and let us know what you think. If it's okay to just like approach and I should be trying to network, or if I should just shut my mouth and let the celebrities be. I wanted to talk about, unfortunately, Donald Trump had dinner with Kanye and a Holocaust denier. And like, I'm not surprised that he did that because like he's the worst and he's totally the kind of person that would do that. But I feel like whenever I talk about how like Trump doesn't really have love for the Jewish people, I get such backlash from Jews and they're all like, oh my gosh, but his daughter's Jewish. And like, yeah, well, obviously that doesn't make a difference to him or even her, because guess what? Most Jews don't want their dads having dinner and breaking bread with Holocaust deniers, okay? If you care about Jewish people, if he cared about his daughter's Jewish identity, he would have been like, yeah, I don't think we should have dinner. And he's like, oh, I didn't even know who this dude is. Well, that's fine, but you should have people that know who this famous Holocaust denier is, that maybe be like, hey, Don, maybe it's not a good idea that you have dinner with him right now, and like make you stop. But no, not Donald Trump. He just has dinner with this guy. Anyways, he's horrible. He doesn't care about Jews. And just because his daughter's a Jew doesn't mean that he's not anti-Semitic. He's not bigoted towards Jewish people. There are plenty of people whose daughters marry outside their races that are racist, and then they have grandkids. And it doesn't mean they're not racist just because they have maybe like a black grandkid. They're still racist. It's just such a stupid argument to be like, oh, well, his daughter's Jewish, so he can't be against Jewish people. He said anti-Semitic things. He's just a horrible guy. Anyways, I just wanted to address that. And now I think it's time for Nerding Out with Phil. We should get some like special music.
Yeah,
for the
right. We should do a
Nerding
little
Out with Phil.
intro.
I think we need like music, and we might need like a graphic, Phil. But I want to talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Have you seen it?
Dude, I've been working through like the last 3 days straight. I had my comedy show and everything.
Okay.
I watched little clips of it and shit. Yeah.
It sucks.
It sucks.
It is the worst thing Marvel has done. Oh my God, it was so bad. First of all, it's just like a giant music video for some band I don't even know. Like all these horrible songs, and like the band's dressed up as like crazy aliens and they're singing like corny, cheesy songs.
That's also why I didn't watch it.
It is, I couldn't believe how bad it was. There was maybe like 2 minutes that I enjoyed, and the rest of it I was just stupefied. Like, how is this happening right now? How did James Gunn direct? Is it like James Gunn now moved over to DC and he's like, I'm just gonna give this stinker to Marvel? It is like the worst. I don't even know how Chris Pratt like was in it. It was so bad. Like, it's mostly Drax and Mantis. It's mostly like them. Like Rocket's barely in it. Like, and like maybe that would have made it better if he was in it more. But it is horrible. Oh my gosh, what a disappointment. I was excited. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. The first Guardians of the Galaxy movie is one of the best Marvel movies. I think it's amazing. And this is just, it's trash. It feels a little bit like a Hallmark movie, and it just is like this. It's just like, what is the point of this whole thing? It's just like, really, it's so bad. And Werewolf by Night, their last special, was so amazing, and I loved it. It was so great for Halloween, and then this came out and it's total trash. You don't even need to watch it, Phil.
I will say Werewolf by Night was fire, dude.
Werewolf by Night is extraordinary.
Yeah, but anytime when it comes to like Marvel or any sort of franchise, when they do like whatever the big franchise is, Christmas special, that sends a shiver up my spine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Ever since, what was it? Star Wars was the first one that had just a terrible Christmas special. So anytime I see something that fans like love and then it says Christmas special after it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible.
And this was, yes, I guess he's keeping in the tradition of making terrible Christmas specials, because this was awful. So I'm sorry. I'm not feeling like such a nerd about Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. I'm like, this shit sucks. Moving on, it's something I want to talk about. You know, I'm very passionate about Palestinian human rights. I'm very passionate about a free Palestine. When I say, though, a free Palestine, I don't mean that I want Israel just to like disappear. I want a peaceful coexistence between Israel and Palestine. I think it's very important. And I think, we are living in a time when more and more Jews are coming to the realization that the way Israel has treated the Palestinian people is wrong. And they want to stand up against that. And I think, it's awesome that I keep seeing more and more Jewish people speaking out on behalf of the Palestinian people, speaking out against the actions of Israel, because they do not represent all Jewish people. And I hope this continues because, I feel like so many Jewish people just want to point fingers to the other side, and we got to point fingers on our side, and that's what Israel is doing and how they are using Judaism, and I think almost exploiting Judaism to treat these people badly and for basically just a land grab that has to stop. So I think more, I didn't even realize when I was a child and when I was learning about Israel and Palestinians, like what had happened to the Palestinian people. I didn't know about the Nakba. I didn't know about that there were people living on this land, and then people came and like, oh, no, these are our homes now, and kicked them out and did some horrible, shady things. But then I learned that, and I was shocked. And I have even come in contact with other Jewish people who haven't learned that yet. And like I've talked to them about it, and they're like, surprised. It's like they have their mind blown because so many Jews are just brainwashed to think that like Palestinians are bad and Israel is good, and that's not the case. And I'm so happy that more and more people are becoming aware and speaking out against the atrocities that Israel has committed. Free Palestine. Speaking about atrocities, we just celebrated Thanksgiving, which is basically all about the slaughter of Native Americans. But that's how much people love days off work that it's not getting canceled, People are still like, oh, well, we're just giving thanks to our family or whatever. Or, hey, we want to, remember the Native Americans or whatever. But like, I mean, in our culture with everything that's happening these days and people are so quick to be canceled and the wokeness, I think it's pretty crazy that like Thanksgiving hasn't been canceled and people aren't more like being like, oh, well, we got to either change, when we have off or whatever, or change what this holiday is, because it's really about massacring a whole group of people so white people can take over their land. That's basically what sums up Thanksgiving, and we're all just like, hey, let's eat some turkey, like let's get some corn. And I think it's pretty sad and it's pretty horrible. And I don't know if it's ever going to change. I don't think it is. I think that's just how much people love not working.
It's the best holiday.
It's the best holiday thing?
Nobody has to buy any gifts. It's not religious in any sort of way, and it's not really all that cultural, truthfully, either. All it's about is a bunch of people meeting up.
Well, it's American culture, kind of. They don't celebrate it in like other places, really.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's like aside from turkey, you don't really have to decide what's going to be on the Thanksgiving menu because of what America has placed in front of you.
Right. We know what we're eating. It's going to have mashed potatoes, going to have green bean casserole, going to have sweet potato pie.
Well, no, I'm actually saying the opposite. I'm saying if you go to a Korean Thanksgiving, they're going to have the turkey, some sweet potato pie and stuff like that. But then they're also going to have all their shit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Jamaican Thanksgiving, they have curry goat at the table.
Oh, that's what you guys have?
Yeah, it has everything.
Okay. But in Jamaica, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
There's a decent amount of countries that celebrate it.
Well, I think people like to get together with their families, and break bread, and that's a time. And okay, I guess that could be nice, even though it seems like most families get together and they just fight and they leave hating each other and people get upset or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like we need to find ways to get together as a family, to unite as people that isn't like based on something where a bunch of people were slaughtered horribly.
I get that, but I feel like any time in American history, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, anytime in like Western European history, everything. I mean, this building, that we're sitting in right now, I'm sure black people weren't allowed here 100 years ago. You know what I mean? But I'm still sitting here and doing it. So I don't know. There's ups and downs.
Yeah, but it wasn't like to build this building, they killed a bunch of black people, And then you're like, oh, and now I come. What?
Probably.
Probably, but
slavery built America. There's a lot of shit.
You're like, I can never go to Washington Square Park again.
Sorry, I just had to be.
It's okay. Hey, maybe,
I
I hope not. I hope this. I think this used to be like a German bank, so it was more built over the dead bodies of Jews and not black people. Which I want to mention this one thing. People are still upset about Dave Chappelle's monologue on SNL, and one thing I've heard a lot of people say is how Chappelle was like, blaming trying to say that that it's that Jews blame black people for the Holocaust or something, and I'm like, where did that come from? That's not what he was saying at all. What Chappelle was trying to say was that the anti-Semitism that Jews have faced, over these years isn't because of black people. Black people didn't do the Holocaust. Black people haven't been oppressing the Jewish people. And sure, now Kanye's spitting idiotic things. Kyrie Irving, there is some sort of backlash coming where, the black community is maybe grabbing onto these idiotic statements, but that doesn't mean that the black people are oppressing Jews or have oppressed Jews. And I don't think that is the comment that Chappelle was making. And it's weird to me that people are like, oh, that's not true what he said. That it's just crazy to me.
Can I ask you something?
Okay.
Right now? So, obviously, you were just talking about Kyrie and everything. So how do you feel about the whole Stephen A. Smith, situation with the owner of the Cowboys? Did you see that?
No, I haven't. I don't even know about this.
Okay. So basically the owner of the Cowboys, they found an old picture from Arkansas in the 1950s. And he's actually at a picket line for non-integration. He was sitting there as a 15-year-old kid in a rally trying to keep black people from going to white schools. Here's the thing. Here's what's so crazy about it is that happens. He's getting a little bit of backlash, not even that crazy of backlash. This is still wild, right? And then Stephen A. Smith, black dude on ESPN, goes out and says how he needs to be forgiven and all this stuff.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just saying, it's a little ridiculous because if you're looking at the timeline of different things that have happened with certain black people having certain faux pas, some very, very worse than others, let's be honest, obviously. But then it's for, these black people to have to go through shit and then have to basically run over hot coals all fucking day, because of it. And then this guy is literally at a picket line for black people not to go to schools. Kyrie shared a movie on Amazon Prime. This guy was there in the segregation era,
but
literally keeping black children.
Ago, and you said he was 15 years old. So listen, that's totally shitty. That's totally wrong. But I got to think that hopefully he's changed since he was 15 years old. And who knows what environment he was in as a 15-year-old that maybe got him there. Maybe his parents were a bunch of racists and they dragged him to this thing and they made him go. We don't know. Maybe that was all he knew. And then when he got a little older and stopped being a teenager, he realized that, that was crazy and that he shouldn't be such a bigot and racist, and maybe he's doing better. So do I think we should punish this guy for something that he did when he was 15 years old? No, but I think maybe he should make a statement about it or something and speak to it. But I think there's something different about, Kyrie Irving saying something today and a guy doing something 40, 50 years ago.
I agree with that. My whole difference though is that basically the whole Kyrie thing, he posted that shit, obviously he had a little bit of a battle about it, oh, I'm not going to apologize, whatever. But then he did, all right? You know what I mean? And at the same time, then he had to apologize 3 or 4 more times. And these are, whether or not it's a good apology or not, honestly, I don't think they were that great of apologies. But that's the truth. He had to apologize multiple times, all right? But you're only looking at, 3 weeks? This guy's had 65 years to apologize. And what did he do? What did he do? He just decided, all right, well, I'm not against segregation anymore. I guess I can make money off black people by getting them to run on a field for me. And when there's a picture taken of me keeping black people out of public schools, I'm going to tell a black guy to apologize for me. That doesn't seem like he's learned his lesson in any way, shape, or form.
Years ago.
I'm just saying the optics are terrible. That's all I'm saying.
What team is this?
The Dallas Cowboys,
he
of
owns
course.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, he does.
You can never trust a cowboy. First they take over the Indians, then they stop integration. Not a good look, Dallas Cowboys. Well, I don't really care about sports, and this guy, he definitely made some mistakes, and he should definitely make a huge apology and make a huge donation to black schools and
I just had to bring it up. I didn't want to make it too awkward. I just had to.
I got it.
I was like,
thanks.
perfect.
Hey, it's good to know something new. And I have a new idea to end the show today. I hate it when I pour a glass of milk, pour some milk on a cereal, and then what happens? I realize the milk is bad. The milk has gone bad. It's horrible. What is it? It's always disappointing. Oh, I'm gonna drink a delicious glass of milk. Oh, gross. So like, that's what I do. Like when I start smelling it, like I start gagging. Anyways, this is my idea. They should make milk cartons that change color when the milk has gone bad. How do they not have this already?
That's a great idea,
right? This is my genius idea that anyone could take and just make it happen. I don't know how I can make money off it. I'm just an idea man here, but we got to have the milk cartons, and you know, like I'm guessing like the pH balance of the milk or something like changes when the milk goes bad, and then in the carton it'll change color to let people know that the milk has gone bad, and then they want them to buy bad milk. Because I know that, like, what do you do when you buy bad milk and you take it home and then you pour like a glass and then you don't go back to the store with like 3/4 of a milk carton and be like, this milk was bad. You know, you're screwed with that milk. We need this color changing milk cartons to let you know when the milk is bad. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Check me out on Instagram at Jonathan Randall. Check the podcast out on Instagram, How You Like Me Now podcast. Check out my website, thatjonathanrandallguy.com. Thanks for listening. I'm Jonathan Randall. How You Like Me Now.